There's a man I met last year. His name is Tom. Tom is 57. Successful career, 3 kids, beautiful grandkids. But one night he found himself sitting in the dark, staring at an unopened bottle of his blood pressure medication, thinking, how did I get here? He told me later, "Doc, I don't eat that badly. I walk a little, but every year my belly just keeps growing and my energy keeps crashing." Sound familiar? If you're over 40 and feel like no matter how little you eat or how much you try, the scale won't move, especially around your waist, you're not alone. And more importantly, it's not your fault. After 40, your metabolism shifts, your hormones change. The old eat less, move more advice, it's outdated. And for many people, it actually backfires. That stubborn belly fat, it's not just about calories, it's visceral fat, the dangerous kind that wraps around your organs, inflames your body, and quietly drains your energy and health. But here's the truth no one tells you. You can reverse it, faster than you think. And you don't need crazy diets, endless workouts, or expensive supplements. In this video, I'll walk you through 5 science-based techniques that help people over 40 melt visceral fat, naturally, sustainably, and feel like themselves again. These are the exact steps that help Tom lose 28 pounds in 90 days, without starving or suffering. Let's start with the foundation. Part 1. Why visceral fat is your real enemy, and why it's harder to lose after 40. The real enemy. Why visceral fat is harder after 40. Let me tell you something that might surprise you. The real problem isn't just fat. It's where the fat is hiding. Especially after 40, the biggest health threat isn't what you see in the mirror. It's what's building up deep inside your body. It's called visceral fat. And if you've noticed your belly getting thicker, your energy dipping, or your blood pressure creeping up, there's a good chance visceral fat is behind it. Now, if you're thinking, I'm just getting older, that's how it is, I hear you. But here's the thing, not all fat is created equal. Subcutaneous fat, the kind you can pinch, is frustrating, yes, but visceral fat, it wraps around your liver, pancreas, and intestines. It doesn't just sit there, it releases chemicals that cause inflammation, hormone imbalance, and even insulin resistance. In short, it silently damages your health from the inside out. This is exactly what happened with one of my clients, Diane. She's 62, works full-time, and had tried everything from low-carb diets to spinning classes. Her scale barely budged. But what scared her most wasn't the weight. It was when her doctor said she was pre-diabetic, even though she didn't feel sick. When we measured her body composition, her visceral fat was high. That's when we knew the real issue wasn't her willpower. It was her biology. You see, after age 40, your body naturally produces less muscle-building hormones like testosterone and growth hormone. You lose lean muscle, your metabolism slows down, and your body becomes more prone to storing fat, especially in the abdominal cavity. And for women, the hormonal shifts during perimenopause and menopause only make this worse. It's not that you're doing something wrong. It's that your body is playing by a new set of rules, and nobody gave you the playbook. But here's the insight I want you to hold on to. Visceral fat is dangerous, yes, but it's also highly responsive. It's one of the first types of fat to decrease when you take the right actions. Unlike the stubborn outer fat, visceral fat can shrink relatively quickly when you adjust your lifestyle in a targeted, science-backed way. That's why in just a few weeks, Diane was able to reduce her visceral fat, stabilize her blood sugar, and finally feel like her efforts were paying off. And we didn't do anything extreme. We simply gave her body the right inputs at the right time. So if you felt discouraged, stuck, or even ashamed, I want you to hear this. It's not too late. You're not broken. And your body still knows how to heal. You just need to speak its new language. And that starts with how you fuel it. In the next section, I'll show you the exact nutritional approach we used with Diane and many others like her to turn their metabolism back on and start melting away visceral fat from the inside out. Let's dive into part 2, the gut. Fire protocol. Gut fire protocol. Reset your metabolism from the inside. If you've ever felt like your metabolism has just gone to sleep after 40, you're not imagining it. The truth is, your body's internal fire slows down with age, especially if it's been fueled by years of stress, processed foods, irregular eating, or dieting on and off. But here's the good news. You can relight that fire. And we start by focusing on your gut. I call this the gut fire protocol. Because when your gut is working for you, not against you, your metabolism gets the signal to wake up, burn fat, and finally respond to your efforts again. Let me introduce you to Harry. He's 43, works a desk job, and when he first came to me, he weighed 270 pounds. He told me, "I don't even eat that much. I just feel stuck." We ran his numbers and discovered that while he was trying to eat less, his meals were chaotic, nutrient poor, and his protein was far too low. His gut was inflamed, his cravings were high, and his metabolism had slowed to a crawl. So we built him a personalized plan based on this protocol. And in just 12 weeks, Harry dropped nearly 100 pounds. No gimmicks, no starvation, just real food, real numbers, and a strategy rooted in biology. Here's the core principle. To burn fat efficiently, your body needs 3 things: enough protein, the right calorie deficit, and a healthy gut environment. We started Harry at a 20% calorie deficit, not too aggressive, just enough to trigger fat loss. But more importantly, we gave him 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. That sounds like a lot, but for someone like Harry who loves to eat, protein became his best friend. It kept him full, preserved his muscle, boosted his metabolism through something called the thermic effect, and helped his body build lean tissue as he lost fat. But nutrition isn't just about macros. It's also about what fuels your gut bacteria. We introduced gut-friendly foods that naturally fight inflammation and support digestion. Plain Greek yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, berries, chia seeds, salmon, spinach, avocado, almonds. These aren't just healthy foods, they're functional. They help restore gut balance, improve insulin sensitivity, and quiet the chronic inflammation that keeps visceral fat hanging on. And here's the deeper insight. Most people over 40 don't need another diet. They need a reset. When your gut is inflamed or starved of nutrients, your whole body feels off. Your cravings, your sleep, your mood, even your motivation. But when your gut is nourished, everything changes. You feel clear, you feel in control, and weight loss doesn't feel like punishment, it feels like progress.
Fasting with purpose. How to use time-restricted eating safely. When most people hear the word fasting, they imagine starving, suffering, or skipping meals in a way that feels punishing. But fasting, when done right, doesn't drain your energy. It restores it. And if you're over 40, using time-restricted eating properly might be the missing piece to finally breaking through stubborn belly fat, improving your focus, and even sleeping better. We call this approach fasting with purpose, because it's not about eating less for the sake of restriction. It's about giving your body a break to heal, burn fat, and reset. Let me share a story that might sound familiar. My client Thomas, 52, had everything. Access to a personal trainer, meal prep service, even a sauna and red light therapy setup at home. And yet he couldn't shake the last 30 pounds around his midsection. He felt foggy, sluggish, and frustrated. We tried something simple. 1 day each week of a 24-hour fast, combined with a 16-8 eating window on the other 6 days. No fancy biohacks, just timing. Within 8 weeks, not only did the belly fat shrink, but Thomas told me, "I feel mentally clear for the first time in years." Why does it work so well, especially after 40? First, let's be clear, fasting is not about starving. It's about creating intentional windows of eating and resting. During the fasting period, your body naturally lowers insulin levels, which allows it to shift from storing fat to burning fat. Studies have shown that alternate day fasting can reduce visceral fat by up to 13% in just 6 weeks, especially when combined with a modest calorie deficit. And because fasting doesn't just impact fat, it also supports cellular repair, gut health, and hormone balance. It gives your body a chance to clean house from the inside. For beginners, I recommend starting with the 16-8 method. Eat your meals within an 8-hour window, say 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and fast the remaining 16 hours, including sleep. Once a week, choose a day where you fast from dinner to dinner, like Sunday 8 p.m. to Monday 8 p.m. During that time, you can drink water, black coffee, herbal teas. Just avoid anything that breaks the fast. And what surprises most people? Fasting actually becomes easier over time. You stop waking up starving, you stop snacking out of boredom, and you start feeling in control again. Here's the insight. After 40, your body isn't broken. It's just slower to respond to constant eating. Giving it space to rest resets your metabolism, sharpens your mind, and allows fat to finally release. But fasting works best when paired with movement. So now that we've timed your meals to work with your body, it's time to move with it too. Let's head into part 4, cardio that works after 40.
Cardio that works after 40, forget HIIT. Start with Zone 2. If you've ever pushed through a high-intensity workout and thought, I'm too exhausted for this, you're not alone, and you're not doing anything wrong. The truth is, after 40, the smartest way to exercise isn't harder, it's smarter. And that means rethinking the no pain, no gain mindset that's left so many people burned out, injured, or worse, stuck in a cycle of effort without results. This is why I recommend what I call cardio that works after 40. And it starts not with HIIT, but with something called Zone 2 training. Let me tell you about Brent and Trish, a couple in their late 50s who came to me frustrated. They were hitting boot camp classes 3 times a week, doing burpees, sprints, you name it. And yet, Brent's blood pressure was climbing, Trish's knees were sore, and neither of them had lost a pound in months. We made one change. We swapped the intense workouts for daily Zone 2 cardio. Think brisk walking, incline treadmill, light cycling. The results? In 6 weeks, they both dropped inches off their waistlines. Their energy returned, and Brent even got to lower his medication dosage, all without breaking themselves in the process. So what exactly is Zone 2 cardio? It's a low to moderate intensity level, about 60 to 70% of your maximum heart rate, which you can estimate by subtracting your age from 220. At this level, you're moving enough to raise your heart rate, but still able to hold a conversation without gasping. It's often described as the fat-burning zone, because your body can efficiently burn stored fat as fuel when you stay here long enough, typically 30 to 60 minutes per session. But here's where it gets even better. Zone 2 cardio not only burns fat during the workout, it improves your metabolism at rest by increasing mitochondrial efficiency. It also enhances insulin sensitivity, lowers inflammation, and improves a marker called VO2 max, which is strongly linked to longevity. In simple terms, you'll not only lose belly fat, you'll actually extend the quality of your life. For many of my clients, I recommend starting with a mix of informal and formal cardio. Informal includes things like walking after dinner, parking further away, or using a treadmill while watching TV. Formal sessions are planned 30 to 45-minute Zone 2 workouts, ideally in a fasted state in the morning. And if 10,000 to 12,000 steps per day sounds overwhelming right now, start with your current average and just add 1,000 more each week. Progress is progress. The big lesson here? You don't need to punish your body to change it. At this stage of life, your body responds best to consistency, not intensity. And when you pair the right movement with the right fuel and fasting rhythm, things start to click. Now, let's complete the picture by talking about a piece most people overlook, but that changes everything: your sleep and stress. Part 5. The Forgotten Factor. I'll show you why improving how you rest might be the most powerful fat-burning strategy of all. The Forgotten Factor. how sleep and stress keep you fat. Let's talk about something most weight loss programs completely ignore. And yet, it might be the reason your belly fat just won't budge. I call it the forgotten factor: sleep and stress. Now, I know you've probably been told to eat better and move more. But what if I told you that no amount of cardio or clean eating can outwork a stressed out, sleep-deprived body? After 40, the way you rest becomes just as important as how you eat and exercise. And for many of my clients, fixing this one area creates a ripple effect that changes everything. Let me introduce you to Carla. She's 49, works in finance, and juggles 2 teenagers and aging parents. She was doing everything right, watching her carbs, walking daily, even trying intermittent fasting. But she still woke up tired, her belly felt bloated, and she couldn't seem to drop more than 2 or 3 pounds. When we looked deeper, we saw the pattern. Carla was sleeping just 5 to 6 hours a night, checking emails late, and living in a constant state of mental overload. Her body wasn't just tired, it was stuck in survival mode. Here's the science. When you don't get enough quality sleep, your cortisol levels stay elevated. That's your stress hormone. And when it's high, it tells your body to store fat, especially around your midsection. It also messes with 2 other hormones, ghrelin and leptin, which regulate hunger and fullness. So you wake up craving sugar and carbs, and even when you eat, you don't feel satisfied. It's not a willpower issue, it's a hormonal chain reaction. So how do we fix it? I teach my clients a simple system called the 10-3-2-1 method. It's not magic, it's structure. 10 hours before bed, cut off all caffeine. 3 hours before bed, finish your last meal. 2 hours before bed, stop drinking large amounts of liquid to avoid waking up. 1 hour before bed, power down screens, or at least wear blue light glasses. We also work on morning light exposure, which helps reset the body's internal clock, so melatonin, your sleep hormone, rises naturally at night. And just 5 minutes of box breathing or journaling before bed can drop your heart rate, calm your mind, and signal your body that it's time to rest, not stay alert. What happened with Carla? Once we focused on her sleep and lowered her daily stress, even without changing her food or workouts, her energy came back. Her belly shrank. And for the first time in years, she said, "I feel calm again." So remember, your body doesn't burn fat when it's fighting fires. It burns fat when it feels safe. And safety comes from
What to cut that no one talks about. There's one more piece of the puzzle that rarely gets the attention it deserves, and yet, for many people over 40, it's the silent reason why belly fat sticks around, even when everything else seems on track. It's not about how much you eat, it's about what you eat, and more importantly, what you may not even realize you need to cut. I call this part, what to cut that no one talks about. Because it's not just about calories, it's about inflammation, hormones, and how your food choices talk to your metabolism. Let's start with a simple truth. Ultra-processed foods are designed to make you overeat. They hijack your hunger signals, spike your insulin, and trigger inflammation, all of which are a perfect storm for storing visceral fat. And no, we're not just talking about fast food. I'm talking about flavored yogurts with 12 ingredients, protein bars with words you can't pronounce, healthy cereals, salad dressings, crackers, even some granolas. If a food has more than 5 to 10 ingredients, especially ones you wouldn't cook with at home, it's likely doing more harm than good. I once worked with Dave, a 60-year-old retired engineer. He swore he was eating healthy, oatmeal in the morning, protein shakes, a salad with low-fat dressing. But his blood sugar kept rising and his belly wouldn't budge. When we audited his pantry, we found over 20 products labeled as healthy that were full of artificial sweeteners, emulsifiers, and hidden sugars. Once we swapped those for simple whole ingredients like plain oats, real fruit, olive oil, and grilled protein, his digestion improved, his cravings dropped, and yes, his waistline shrank within weeks. And then there's the big one, alcohol. I know it's a touchy subject, but hear me out, not as a lecture, but as your doctor who wants you to feel amazing again. Alcohol is processed in the liver, and when it's in your system, fat burning is paused, sometimes for up to 36 hours. Even a single glass of wine each night can keep your body stuck in fat storage mode, not to mention mess with your sleep, increase cortisol, and trigger emotional eating the next day. And remember, alcohol has 7 calories per gram, almost as high as fat, and none of the nutrition. Would you drink a cup of fat? Probably not. But many of us unknowingly do just that, glass by glass. The deeper truth is this. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to be honest. Scan your kitchen, look at labels, ask yourself, would I feed this to my 10-year-old grandchild every day? If the answer is no, then your body probably doesn't want it either. The goal isn't to punish yourself, it's to protect the version of you that wants to live longer, stronger, and lighter. Now that we've cleared away the foods that work against you, it's time to see what happens when everything works together. Let's look at real results. People over 40 who applied
These steps and changed their lives. In part 7, Real Stories, Real Wins, you'll meet them. And maybe you'll see yourself in their story. Real stories, real wins. What happens when you do this for 30 days? Sometimes the best way to believe something is possible is to see someone else do it first. And I can tell you, after years of working with people over 40, even those who thought they had tried everything, I've learned this truth. When you give your body the right inputs, the results often come faster than you expect. Not from extreme workouts, not from cutting out entire food groups, but from simple, science-backed changes practiced consistently. Let me share a few real stories with you. Not to impress, but to inspire. First, there's Brent, 58, a former college athlete turned business consultant. When he came to me, he said, "Doc, I feel like I'm doing everything slower. My weight's creeping up, I'm tired all the time." He was skeptical about fasting, didn't love cardio, and had never really tracked his food. But he committed to 30 days of what you've just learned: eating clean with high-protein meals, daily walking in Zone 2, 1 24-hour fast per week, and following the 10-3-2-1 sleep method. By week 4, Brent had dropped 10 pounds of fat, but what shocked him more was this. "My knees don't hurt anymore, I sleep through the night, and I don't crash in the afternoons." Then there's Denise, 61, a retired nurse. Her visceral fat scan came back higher than expected, and she admitted she felt embarrassed, despite knowing all the right things. She just couldn't seem to make them stick. So we simplified everything. We focused only on real food, light morning walks, and stress reduction through journaling. In 30 days, she didn't just lose inches. She said, "I feel like my brain works again. I forgot how good clear feels." And of course there's Thomas, the executive you met earlier, who had access to every tool, gym, supplements, fancy gadgets, but none of it moved the needle until he committed to these 5 fundamentals. He ended up losing 28 pounds in under 90 days. But the part he talks about most? I actually enjoy taking care of myself now. That's new for me. So here's the insight. It doesn't take perfect conditions. It doesn't take extreme discipline. It just takes 1 month of alignment. 1 month where your meals, movement, mindset, and recovery are all moving in the same direction. When that happens, your body doesn't resist. You begin to feel like you again. You've seen the science, you've heard the stories. Now it's time to think about your story. What could change for you if the next 30 days were different? In our final section, I'll show you exactly how to begin, 1 simple step at a time, and how to build a plan you can actually live with. Let's wrap it all up in part 8, the takeaway. Start small, win big. The takeaway. Start small, win big. If there's one truth I've seen play out time and again in the lives of people over 40, it's this. The smallest changes, done consistently, bring the biggest wins. After watching so many of my patients and clients transform, not just in weight, but in energy, confidence, and health, The lesson is clear. You don't have to overhaul your life overnight. You just have to start. Let me remind you of what you've learned in this video. You now understand that visceral fat is the real threat, and that it behaves differently than the pinchable fat you see. You've discovered the power of the gut fire protocol, using protein and gut-friendly foods to reset your metabolism. You've seen how fasting, with purpose, can help your body burn fat more efficiently, not by eating less, but by eating with intention. You've learned that Zone 2 cardio, not punishing HIIT workouts, is the sweet spot for fat burning, longevity, and consistency after 40. You've explored how sleep and stress management unlock your body's ability to let go of stored fat. And finally, you've seen that cutting out just a few hidden saboteurs, like ultra-processed foods and alcohol, can accelerate your progress dramatically. But now comes the most important part: what you do next. If you're feeling overwhelmed, I get it. But here's my challenge to you. Don't try to do it all. Just choose one change, one habit, one shift that feels doable this week. Maybe it's starting the 16-8 eating window. Maybe it's walking for 20 minutes every morning before breakfast. Maybe it's committing to no screens 1 hour before bed. Maybe it's swapping your protein bar for a real meal. Whatever it is, start small and do it every day for 7 days. That's how momentum builds. That's how real change starts. I once had a client, Marcus, who told me, "Doc, I've failed too many times. I'm afraid to hope." But he agreed to make just one change: drinking black coffee in the morning instead of a sugary breakfast. That one shift led to better hunger control, which led to better food choices, which led to walking more. And 90 days later, he was 22 pounds lighter and smiling in a photo with his granddaughter. It didn't start with perfection. It started with one good decision. So, here's your reminder. You don't need to fix everything. Just fix one thing. Then, let that one win inspire the next. Your body still knows how to respond. It's just waiting for the right signal. And if this video spoke to you, if you saw yourself in any of these stories, thanks for watching. Remember, your health is your greatest asset. If you found this video helpful, give it a like, share it with someone who might need it. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We'll keep bringing you clear, science-backed information on obesity, weight control, and living your healthiest life, so you can take charge of your future, starting today.